Mine's not excited and have to fuss on this.
The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God, and joint heirs with Christ. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestation of the sons of God. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same, in hope, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption to it, the redemption of our body. I will declare the decree. The Lord hath said unto me, Thou art my son. This day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces, like a potter's vessel. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings. Be instructed, ye judges of the earth.
Parents get me. Mine's not excited and have to fuss on this.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash, pushing to get up out of here. All right, we the brothers, all right, out of GMS Mississippi camp. Got another weekly lesson dealing with can you not discern the signs of the times? Okay, because one thing that's undeniable, is the Lord has enlightened us, through the Holy Spirit, we've been enlightened with the understanding of the scriptures. Well, we know that we're seeing scripture speak, So we're in the time now when the Lord is getting ready to do mass judgment in the earth. All right. And what we're seeing happening, the Lord is beginning to express his anger in the world. Okay. So we're going to see more natural disasters. All right. We're going to see more conflicts and war. We're going to see pestilence. We're going to see civil unrest. Okay. We're going to see famine. See, these things are only going to increase because right now we're in the beginning of sorrows. So we're at phase one of major judgment that the Lord is getting ready to bring to the earth, and these signs let us know where we are in prophecy, man. Okay. And as our scriptures say, seeing all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of person are we to be? Because it all leads to nuclear destruction, all right, and the salvation of the elect, So as we know that the end game of everything we're seeing happening, what manner of person are we to be in these times, But y'all brothers got it. You go ahead and get it, bro.
Con, Like the title says, can you not discern the times? And we're gonna kick it off with Matthew 16, starting at verse 1, because Yahweh Shai asked the question, and we'll get that word discern from there. This is any brother had anything? Just go ahead, kick it out, bro.
Yeah, you kick it out with that one, then we'll brother jump in, and then whatever brother, y'all brothers want to make a point, then jump in.
This is Matthew chapter 16, starting at verse 1. The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came and tempting desired him that they would show them a sign from heaven. So they was coming up to Yahweh Shai, and not only were they completely ignorant to all the other miracles that Yahweh Shai was doing at the time, but they wanted him to show that the intent is they were trying to trip him up. But they was completely ignorant to all the other miracles that were taking place that Yahweh Shai was doing. Verse 2, it says, and he answered and said unto them, when it is evening, ye say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red, and in the morning it will be foul weather to the day, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times? So Yahweh Shai was telling them, like, you can look out and you can you look at the sky, you can see it's raining. You can see it. You said if it's about to rain, a cloud, you can look at it and say, man, that cloud dark. It's in the storm, it's in the rain, but you can see all these things coming, but you can't separate the differences between seeing when nature itself is happening, the difference between that and when Yahweh Shema Shai is bringing these things into effect. So I want to get that word discern. I have it here in the blue letter, and I have it on the Google. This is that word discern.
Strong's G 1252. Diakrino.
Outline of biblical usage, definition 1, it says to separate, make a distinction, discriminate, or to prefer. So to make a distinction or to separate. So we're learning to make a distinction from and separate the differences from when, things are just happening. Because, for example, the earthquakes, they'll say, well, because of all these different things and the tectonic plates and all those different things right there. But we know for a fact that that's the judgment of Yahweh Shema Shai. It doesn't matter what this devil does or the Esau is just a tool for Yahweh Shema Shai to bring mass judgment and to take away peace from the earth. This is that word discern here as well on the Google. It said discern means to accurately recognize the Most High's activities. So to understand the difference between the distinction between the truth and error, which what a lot of people will bring up, they would say, well, whatever reason they give you, they're talking about solar rays and energy from the sun caused the shift. No, Yahweh Shema Shai caused the shift. They caused the earthquake. Yahweh Shema Shai caused the heat waves. They called all this, and that's what Yahweh Shai was meaning. In Matthew 16, you can look out and see all these things, but you can't tell the difference when Yahweh Shema Shai is causing these things to happen, because ultimately they're ignorant to it. It's not given to them to understand.
Bro. Any other brother had something?
Bro, you can get Amos 3 and 6.
Oh, you got it.
You can get there probably. Okay. You got Yum Yacht. Then you got Lamont. What you want to get Yum Yacht?
Amos 3 and 6.
Okay.
This is the book of Amos chapter 3, starting at verse 6. It says, shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord Yahweh have not done it?
Shall I read verse 7 too?
Verse 7. It says, surely the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets.
So everything that you're seeing happening in the earth now, everything that's coming to pass, when Yahweh Shem Yahushua speaking through prophecy, it was already spoken by his prophets, man. Because if the Lord revealed those secrets unto his prophets, these end time prophecies, which are basically surprising, to your everyday people, those who the Lord is not dealing with, so to speak, or who he basically those who don't take acknowledge of what prophecy is saying, or that this is the Lord that is bringing these things to pass, just to back up this brother Nah, so everything you see, this end time prophecy is no surprise to the prophets. Why? Because these are the things that we look forward to happen, going into the uproars of the people, the earthquakes, these different natural disasters. All this is everything is ultimately is prophecy again, ultimately building up to what the last prophecies before the return of Yahweh Shai. So everything that we see, again, man, this is it's not surprising. It's what we look forward to. As the brother said, hey, seeing that all these things must be dissolved. Brother brought that up. What manner of persons are we to be? And those we're gonna be those manner, Lord willing, those manner of people or persons, because hey, we understand what the Lord is bringing. Hey, and again, hey, a lot of it's going to be judgment on a mass scale. Even though judgment go out through the earth every day, every morning the Lord brings judgment of life. But hey, when you see these natural disasters knocking off 1,500 people at a time, 2,000 people, these earthquakes back to back, ultimately, again, this ain't no surprise, man. Hey, the Lord said these things were going to happen. So, hey, don't we expect the Lord to make good on his work? Hey, the Lord, he ain't lying when he say he gonna do these things, man.
Gone, bro. You had Joy Lamont.
Can you get Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 7?
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 8, starting at verse 7. Yeah, the stork in the heaven knoweth her appointed times, and the turtle and the crane and the swallow observe the time of their coming. But my people know not the judgment of the Lord Yahweh.
And this is, of course, regarding Israel, being that rebellious, sinful, hard-headed nation, man. And you see these animals, they know how to move when certain times or certain seasons are approaching, but when it comes to the nation of Israel, even back in the time of Jeremiah, man, when they was being, they refused being corrected, no repentance, the leadership was all jacked up. And we see that today, man. And the way a lot of our people are moving when it comes to the 2/3, that's why the Lord said 2/3 are going to be cut off and die. Because, they move in a way like the Lord's judgment is not happening right now. They move in a way like, the Lord's judgment is like something that's not really going to continue to happen until Yahweh shall even crack those clouds, man. And even as well as the other people, man. People are headstrong, and a lot of people are waking up. A lot of people know something is wrong, something is off. There's a higher power at work, but you still have a lot of people in that docile mind state and thinking and hoping that society is going to get back to normal. There's going to be some kind of peace that's going to come upon the earth, but we're not in those times, man. It's a time of plucking up, a time of war. It's the time of Yahweh Shem Yahushua's judgment, and it's only going to continually increase. So those who think there's going to eventually be peace back on earth before Yahweh Shai returns, they're sadly mistaken. And the proof is the way people move, man, and how we always go into Romans 3:3. So what if some don't believe? Does their unbelief make the faith of Yahweh Shem Yahushua without effect? Yahweh forbid, let the Most High be true and every man a liar. Roughly paraphrase. So people who have high hopes and have faith in Egypt and believe America is going to be strong again, they're pretty much going to be gift wrapped for the Lord's judgment. That's all I got, bro.
Come, bro. Lock, you had something before we because after Lock, I'm gonna go to
Okay.
the video, then we'll jump back into it. But you got to though, Lock.
Can you give me Romans chapter 13 verse 11 and read down to 14?
Come, this book of Romans, chapter 13, starting at verse 11. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe.
Because it's not as we know, but some of them know it's not meaning literal sleep. It's talking about being unaware. Unaware of what? Of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh. Of being unaware of his prophecies, of his doing, that he is a true power, that he's showing his work, can no longer be ignorant of the things that's going on, because he shows he showed that he is through what? His signs, his prophecy, his word. First he'll give you the word, then he'll give you a sign, the prophecies all being fulfilled. What? Showing you, hey, I'm doing the work in your day, I'm doing the work in your day. So what? We cannot be ignorant of the things that's going on around us. That's what Scripture said we must be. I hope to get that later. We must be occupied in prophecy. Continue.
Verse 12, it says the night. Okay, it's like I thought I was muted. Verse 12, Romans 13 and 12, it says the night is far spent. The day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor of light.
The night is far spent and the day is at hand. What? The kingdom of heaven is at hand. It's on the way. It's on the way. Let us put on the armor of light. What? This is knowledge and wisdom of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Depending on the elect. Depending on the elect, doing the things of the elect. Praying for mercy, praying for forgiveness, praying for spiritual power, praying that that he don't take his Holy Spirit away from you. Measuring yourself according to the scriptures, because we all fall. We get back up and do better. So we can't be out here armless, basically naked. Continue.
Come, verse 13. Let us walk
honestly. Real quick, bro. I want to get something real quick. Just to go into that night and day, just to go into the cultural backdrop behind it when Apostle Paul is speaking about the night and the day. So let's I'm gonna share this real quick. Just real quick to add to your point though a lot. Just to give a little substance. So when I said what is the cultural background of the night is spent in Romans 13 chapter. It says in Romans 13, 11 through 12, the Apostle Paul writes, the night is far spent, the day is at hand, using a cultural metaphor that reflects first century Greco-Roman lifestyle contrast. He contrasts night is spiritual darkness, sin, and pagan ignorance, with the day, the impending return of Hamashiach, truth, and enlightenment. Paul draws upon two specific cultural backgrounds to make this point. The Roman nightlife of vice. In the ancient Roman Empire, the hours of darkness were frequently associated with uninhibited debauchery, hidden crimes, and drunken banqueting, pretty much like American nightlife, which Paul later lists in verse 13 as orgy, drunkenness, sexual immortality, and quarreling. Paul is warning believers not to participate in the typical unrestrained culture of the pagan empire they lived in. The metaphor of waking up and changing clothes, Paul uses a vivid image of a soldier waking up as dawn breaks, taking off his dirty night clothes with sin, and putting on his armor for the new day. He urges, would you wake up to your duty and your responsibility? It says he urges the church to wake up from the spiritual apathy leave behind the lifestyle of darkness and put on the Lord Yahweh Shai as a protective garment, you know. But you got it, bro. I just want to bring that up.
Nah, bro, that was beautiful. That was fire.
I got some for you too. You said that word vice. It says this is the definition of vice. It says vice is defined as an immoral, degrading, or wicked habit that opposes the Most High's moral law.
Yeah, you got a lot.
See, in this lifestyle, this system that we in, this current era that we in, goes against the moral law, the moral conduct of Yahweh Shema Shah. So we can't be unaware of our own actions, but also unaware of the things that's going on. You know, you can continue, bro. Verse 13.
Okay, I got you. Verse 13, it says, "Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rotting and drunkenness, not in chambering and one-onness, not in strife and envying, but put ye." Slacking, go ahead.
Because all those things can get you all caught up. Riding, you participate in the marches and stuff, being literally drunk or drunk with this world philosophies, you know, not in chambering and wantonness, not being, just, that's the word they said earlier, being caught up in the debauchery, you just focus on, if you're a man, you just focus on the women, and you're a woman, you just focus on being a hoe. You can't be doing that, not in strife and envy. We can't be like that. So we must have that on, because that armor again, it's the wisdom and understanding of Yahweh Shema Shah. So we're gonna be mindful of those things while we're walking in this life, while we're walking until the day of Yahweh Shema Shah. You got it.
Come on, verse 14. Put ye on the Lord Yahweh, Salaki, put ye on the Lord Yahweh Shah Hamashiach, and make no provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof.
Don't be, be like, yeah, I'm gonna do this tomorrow. I'm gonna turn up tomorrow and stuff like that. Nah, because again, the Lord can take your life in a snap. As a priest, y'all was talking about, the Lord's judgment go out every day. Don't be making provisions flesh. Just walk after the spirit. Because the spirit wars against his flesh. But we can't be unaware, because this flesh will have you drunken and unaware of the things that's going around you. Okay, yeah, that's it.
Bro. So real quick, I'm gonna share this video. Just go back into like this crazy heat that's over there in Europe, especially over there in France. Let's see. And it popped up. Yeah, here we go.
Well, for more, we can bring in climate scientist Jean-Pascal Van-Ypersel, who's a professor at the Catholic University of Leuven, and he's also a visiting professor at the University of Liège. Thank you very much for speaking to us here on France 24 today. Now, we're currently experiencing what scientists are already calling the most severe heatwave ever recorded in Europe, with high temperature records seemingly broken every day. Is this the new normal that we're simply just going to have to get used to?
Unfortunately, this is not the new normal. This might be considered in a few decades from now as a cool period, because if we continue to increase our greenhouse gas emissions in the world, particularly CO2 coming from the burning of fossil fuels, we will get even higher temperatures in the future.
So to lead on from that, to what extent exactly, in your opinion, is human behavior, man-made global warming, responsible for the sorts of extreme weather we're experiencing right now?
Well, it's very clear that we wouldn't get values of temperature as high as the one we are seeing and heat waves as long as what we are seeing now if we had not disturbed the climate system with our greenhouse gas emissions. So clearly, this is an effect of human influence on the climate.
Do we have any idea about the extent to which global warming is impacting these sorts of extreme weather events? Do we have an idea about how much less hot it would be, for example, if we hadn't been pumping greenhouse gases into the atmosphere since the Industrial Revolution?
Well, the average global temperature has already increased since the Industrial Revolution by approximately 1.3 degrees Celsius. But in Europe, the increase has been larger than the global average. First of all, because it's a continent, and continents warm faster and more than the global average, because the ocean is warming in a slower manner, and so I would say between 2 and 2.5 degrees, something like that. It would be two or than it is now, and the extremes would not be as high as what they are now.
Now, a few years ago, we were talking pretty much non-stop about the 1.5 degree Celsius Paris target, the goal of keeping global warming to no more than 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels. Where are we right now regarding that target? And you touched on it just there, but is that different for Europe compared to the rest of the world?
Well, this number is, first of all, a global average temperature.
See what they're trying to push is this climate change, and that's, these devils also want to do with gas cars, putting everyone in these electric cars, because those electric cars, it'd be easier for them to control on the grid. It'd be easy to link those electric cars to the the infrastructure, the digital infrastructure. So you see that they pushing the climate change real tough, because it'd be far easier for them to hook those electric cars and sync those electric cars to the digital grid, which will give them more control. So this another angle that they're going to use, with these heat waves over there in Europe, is that this is why they need to get away from gas, fossil fuel burning cars, and everyone needs to go EV, clean energy. They're going to push the technocracy as clean energy, So they're going to spin this in their favor, all right, to fit their narrative. Well, this is why we need a technocracy, so we can control these things so it don't get out of hand. This is why the experts need to be running the government. The technocracy is basically, the experts running the government, the engineers, the scientists, the architects, particular experts running the government. So this devil, he gonna spin this heat, which we know, all right, at the end of the day, all right, brothers went into it before, the earth goes through natural heating and cooling periods. But then we know this devil too, his industrial energy, his industrial, all right, infrastructure, and this nigga tampering with everything. Because even, when Esau go to war, they heat the earth up, heat up the earth. All these airstrikes, that has an impact on the earth. So it's a lot of things that Esau does that affects, the earth. That's why he's like a disease that got to be cut out. And just like your body, it heats up to try to get rid of a bug or a bacteria. Well, the earth heats up, all right, to cleanse itself, man. And the earth really trying to cleanse itself for Esau, man. What y'all brothers got to do.
I think you had the death toll on that too, didn't it, bro? Deletion numbers on that.
Yeah, it was 1,000 heat-related deaths and 40 drownings. So people trying to escape the heat, going to the drowning. And they didn't mention there was the the title of the video, but it didn't say it. But you know, what we said, but you go ahead and get your precept and keep it moving.
Because you were going into how people are trying to they're trying to run from the heat, and get in the water as a relief from from the heat. But we know that heat is from Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai, and then likening to, as it says in Amos 19, it's Amos 5:19. It says, as if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him, or went into a house and leaned his hand up on the wall, and the serpent bit him. So that's another way how we know that this is all from Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai, because no matter which way you go, as a result of trying to run away from judgment, you can't get away from judgment. You can't get away from prophecy. So no matter where you go, you're still going to run straight into it. Ultimately, those who the deletion told from that, that's via Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai judgment. Those who been deleted via the earthquakes, or via the heat exhaustion. That's all from Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai as well. And I got this just to back you up with that one too, bro. If I can, this going into I found this here the other day, and this goes into exactly, this is the earthquake tracker. So it tells you exactly where earthquakes are and where they happen and how often they happen. So in the past 24 hours, there's been 108 earthquakes. In the past 7 days, 987, 30 days of a month, it's been 4,888. And in the past year, it's been almost 55,000 earthquakes. All of that, we know as there's an increase in these times, and there's no guessing, why these things are happening, because we're going through those birth pains right now. The Lord is the judgment is building. He's building up the judgment. He's building up prophecy, and ultimately the Lord is about to get ready to really he's about to really showcase his power.
Bro, and I found a good video dealing with France. Because the other one, the title was misleading, but I found another one dealing with France. Hold on. Hell, they're catching hell. Let's see. Maybe this one here. So then play this one real quick.
New heights in France, thrill seekers take a dip. The country sizzling in record-breaking temperatures. It's just hell on earth. Even Australian tourists are feeling the heat.
38 degree in Melbourne, it feels a lot cooler somehow than a 38-degree day in Paris.
It's so hot, cities across Europe have gone into shutdown. Tourist attractions like the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre are closing early.
It's disappointing, but you just have to accept it.
Thousands of schools have shut. Those that remain open are taking a socks-off approach. In the UK, train networks urge would-be travellers to stay home, with temperatures expected to rise as high as 40 degrees.
HOT, hot. We wait all year for some sun, so we should stop complaining.
I love the sunshine, but for many people, it's an absolute nightmare.
Heat alerts have also been issued for large parts of Italy, Spain and the Netherlands.
Climate disasters are becoming more frequent. London isn't just calling, it's cooking.
Water brings relief for some, but also poses a risk. At least 40 people have drowned in France in the past week.
This is Europe's second deadly heat wave in 2 months. Experts say young children and the elderly are most at risk, especially in cities like London that were never built to withstand these prolonged high temperatures.
Those desperate for reprieve will need to wait a few more days. Cyan Valence, ABC News, London.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so it's pressure. It's an oven. The Lord got Europe like an oven right now. And like say 40 degrees, they talking about Celsius. So that's like 110 degrees, Fahrenheit. And then they got all that concrete, man. So they call like those cities, what they call urban heat islands, you know, because their asphalt it re-radiates the heat. You know, the concrete and asphalt it re-radiates the heat. So the heat coming down and then it's coming off the ground and it got an oven effect. So it's like you got heat coming down on you, then heat coming from below you and you in the middle, you know? But you got it, bro. Any other brother had something? Any brother had precept?
Yeah, I got a quick one.
All right. You got it.
Second Ezra 15, verse 5. Yeah, and it's pretty much just expounded on what y'all brothers talking about, man. But see, that extreme heat wave that's going over there in Europe, that's a plague. You got it, bro.
This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 15, starting at verse 5. Behold, saith the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction.
Right, and all these things are happening, but particularly brothers are going into now about the deaths that has happened in Europe because of this heat wave. Y'all say how many was it?
1,000. Just by heat related, then 40 by drowning, and that was just in France.
It's and see that's the judgment of the Lord, man. That's the judgment of the Lord. Because I was reading something, man, in Revelation, Revelation 16 chapter, the 8th and 9th verse was going into that fourth angel pouring out that vial with the sun and would scorch men with fire, man. Now they're not literally burning, but that sun, man, is scorching them, man, to the point where they're having heat strokes. They die from dehydration. You know, it's beautiful, man. Because I mean, these are things that the Lord said was gonna happen. You know, these are part of prophecies being fulfilled. Death is a big part of prophecy. And this heat is a plague, man. And who knows how much more the Lord gonna turn that oven up, man. Y'all like Elder Priest, y'all was mentioning how, you know, the heat from the sun and then everything from the ground, the heat coming up. It's like shit, they in a fucking George Foreman grill. They just get cooked, you know? And then it's gonna put them in another case where their electric bill gonna be so high they ain't gonna be able to pay it because them air conditioners gonna have to work extra hard to keep anything cool, man. So this devil is planning out everything, man. You got it, bro.
I'm just saying they don't have a lot of AC in Europe because they ain't used to it being that hot. So a lot of houses don't even have AC because when you go to it, it says so far it's been 1,365 deaths this year in these last few months, and it says France, the hardest hit area, recording approximately 1,000 additional deaths. It says a 40% increase in people dying at home. So you got people that don't have any AC, so they can't get no relief nowhere. You know, they suffering in the house. They go out the house, they're suffering. You know, and then I say Spain got 327 deaths, and the United Kingdom got 25. You know, but it's really going down over there in France, over there in Paris, man. You know, well, yeah, you got people dying in their house. You know, because like Europe doesn't have, you know, the AC, you know, system like America. You know, they don't have a lot of AC in the houses like American house. You know,
so that just means it's gonna be even more deaths because we haven't even reached the peak of this heat yet, man. It's not even July yet. So it's gonna be more deaths to come.
Yep.
But behind all this heat, man, ultimately is the judgment of the Lord.
Yeah, they say only 20% of European households have air conditioning. 20% compared to 90% in the United States.
And who you think got that 20% of air conditioning down there, over there? You know, so these little that's right. That's right. So, you know, Jake threw over there, man. Hell, even them low level Edomites threw. So it's finna be bad over there, man. They finna have a high death rate with no crime.
Yep.
So that's all I got, bro.
Yeah, they say usually don't get that hot in Europe. They say historically Europe's temperature summers require little to no cooling, making AC an uncommon luxury rather than a standard building fixture. You know, so yeah, they threw. Like I said, this is just the beginning. You know, and they speculate it might hit 120 some days over there.
And you can best believe they ain't finna put no rush on getting no air conditioning units over there, man. I'm pretty sure they scrambling trying to get some orders in. That shit ain't gonna happen. Cause it's just gonna help Esau depopulation scheme, man.
Hell yeah. But y'all got somebody else had precept? Oh, no.
Okay.
All right, you got it, bro.
You can give me 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 1 and 2.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 9, starting at verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, for then thou shalt see its part, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand it is when the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
It's talking about them prophecies, you know. Prophecies he said that was going to happen. You got to remember when the apostles went to Yahushua and spoke to him on the Mount of Olives. You know, he said these things was going to come because the priest Lamar said this heat wave, what? That's a plague. This is a plague. He said these things were going to happen. And it's happening back to back to back to back while time moving faster, while wars are going on, while the people are divided. You know, these are the signs. While you having earthquakes in diverse places, it's happening back to back to back to back. What? This is the beauty of the word. Yahweh Shas fulfilling his word. This is the beauty of prophecy. He said, look for these things. So when it happens, what? You may believe. You know? All these things are just what? All these things. I know it's bad to other people, but faith boosters to his elect. Because what? We was looking for these signs. We was looking for him to fulfill his word. And we're seeing his word be fulfilled in real time. That's all I had, bros.
Hey, if I can just say real quick to lay on back on what the brother said, because that's beautiful, man. Because like you're saying, things are happening back to back, back to back. The earthquakes, the wars. You know what I'm saying? The heat wave thing that's going over there in Europe. And like the scripture said, the Lord said he's visiting the earth, okay, the world that he created. He didn't say he was finna visit, you know, Europe, then he gonna stop by America, then he was gonna, you know, check out Russia, China, things like that. He said the earth, okay, the world. So judgment is gonna be happening all over the globe. Events are gonna be happening all over the globe. Prophecy is gonna be fulfilled all over the globe, all at one time. So this is just more proof that the Lord is visiting the earth that he created. That's it, bro.
Come on, bro. Yeah, you had some? You ready to close?
Yeah, come on, bro. Yeah, just
close
to
out
back
what
up.
you got.
Yeah, just to back up that brother Lamont. Yeah, and just what Priest not brought out. You know, almost what 60,000 earthquakes in the past year. Come on, and then you got all this. Everything is right here, just bundled up, bunched up. A prophecy. Hey, this right here just goes to show you again. Brothers brought it out too. Those birth pains are increasing, man. Hey, again, the Lord's judgment can't help but bring out what brothers brought out, because the Lord, this is what the Lord's showing on the earth. He's showing that Yahweh Shai is near. So Baba Kashai, get a Habakkuk 2, and we can just get straight into 3.
Like I thought I had to blow that up. My bad. This is Amos 2, right, bro?
No, I said Habakkuk.
Habakkuk, Salakia, Habakkuk. Come on, there we go. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2. You see me to get straight to 3?
You can.
This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, starting at verse 3. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry."
And this ultimate vision is going into what? Yahweh Shai's return. We're coming with the brightness of his coming. He's gonna destroy them with the brightness of his coming. Hey, this basically leading up to everything we're seeing is again those birth pains that leading up to the Son coming in his glory, man. But again, those evil times, as the prophet spoke. Baba Kashai, real quick, get Jeremiah 28:8.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 28, and verse 8. It says, "The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence."
Yeah, so you can see, you can see a whole lot of judgment going out in the earth. And again, I think Priest Lamar brought it out. How and the brother Yas too. The Lord turning up this earth, man. He's heating, everything is being heated up. Prophecy is basically boiling over, man. You finna see not only people just getting on the live by heat, but you got the sword. Everything is finna turn up to the next level, man. We just seeing this now. This is just in the news now. How much more when people actually really just start turning on each other, on a grand scale, man. So it's for an appointed time. The vision is we living in that time. We seeing all these things speaking. So again, we only thing we got to do is just continue, man. We just got to continue that we can see Yahweh Shai coming in his glory, man. Or be with Yahweh Shai when he come. As his hopefully elect. So that was it on that, bro.
Come on, bro. Nah, you take us out. Whatever you have.
So I want to get it in the KJV and the NLT. This is Revelations chapter 22 and verse 7. Because this is what it all boils down to. As we seeing all of these things take place, we understand that it is for a specific purpose or a specific intent. And that specific purpose is Yahweh Shai coming through. Yahweh Shai is coming. It's it's a Corn Kazak. It's his YouTube channel. Yahweh Shai is coming soon. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 7. It's like in chapter 22, verse 7 in the KJV, and then I'm getting the NLT. It says, "Behold, I come quickly. Blessed is he that keep the sayings of the prophecy of this book." And in the NLT, it says, "Look, I am coming soon. Blessed are those who obey the words of prophecy written in this book." So just like all the brothers the whole entire argument we've been getting into throughout this video, all these things are happening for the sake of prophecy. Yahweh Shai told us these things. Even before Yahweh Shai walked on the earth in the step of Yahweh Shai, was told to us previously by the prophets of old as well, which was given through Yahweh Shai. So we've been told these things, and we've been informed of prophecy as well. Priest Halak brought out, measured out the time diligently. According to what? According to the prophecy of this book. So those who keep the words of prophecy, those who who obey the word of prophecy, and those who hold fast to these things, just keep holding on, because Yahweh Shai is coming soon.
Mm-hmm. Come on, bro. Yeah, and that's the point. You know, like you said, that's what it's all, you know, building up to, is the return of Yahweh Shai. You know, everything that we see happening, we keep up with these things because this is how we track the return of our great King, our Savior, all right, Yahweh Shai. You know, so the point being made, you know, Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you few sisters, all right, we're edified once again. We're going to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders, GMS, rule well, teach well, being great examples for his younger brothers. Peace and blessings, salutations, and hopefully, shalom.
Shalom.